Today I am going to be replacing the fan in this HP 15EF0023DX. It's similar to a lot of other HP 15-inch laptops. However, I couldn't find any other videos on this specific model, so I thought I would knock out a quick video. It's not going to be any kind of high-tech production or anything like that. I'm just going to show you the basics of taking the bottom cover off of this unit, replacing the fan, putting the cover back on. Short and sweet. So just so you can see the laptop here, I'll even turn it this way because it's probably filming in that orientation. It's a nice little, very thin profiled laptop. Of course, a solid state drive. Built-in battery, so they've gotten a lot simpler to take apart because there's just a lot less external parts to the unit. So I'm going to move the camera just a little bit. Actually, I think you can see that. So I'm going to start here. Now, to take the bottom off, there are only 8 screws. There are 2 screws right here, and there are 3 screws underneath each of these rubber strips. And the only thing you need to take this apart and replace the fan is a tiny Phillips screwdriver and some type of, excuse my reach, some type of spudger to get around and pry the plastic off. I like to use an X-Acto knife because it's finer and can get into the cracks. But of course you have to be very careful with that because you can mar the plastic if you're not careful. So I'm going to start by taking these screws out. And handily, there are 2 kinds of screws. They're different sizes, but they're also different colors. So it's not really too hard to keep track of everything. So just take these 2 screws out. Take your blade, carefully pick underneath this rubber strip. It is glued on with double-sided tape. I have had this unit open before, so it's going to come up a little easier for me than it might for you, but they come up relatively easily. And the safest place to store these is just right above it. Just put it down and it'll be safe right there. And as you can see, there are 3 screw holes here. And all 3 of these screws are the same size as those first 2 I took out, and they're silver. And they are marked M2X6, M2X6, M2X6. So they're all marked. Now on the other side of this same drill, lift up the rubber. Stick it down just temporarily to store it. Now you can see here there are a couple black screws and 1 silver screw. The black ones are M2.5 by 6. So that's all the screws holding the covers on. Now open up your laptop. Okay, now I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to work it between the little gap. You can just see a little gap all the way around here. Now when I took this apart the first time, I didn't snap this front all the way back in. So again, this is going to be a little easier for me. But you just have to work your way around, snapping the little clips out. Like that. That lifts it out. And I like to stick my screwdriver in there to hold it in place. Just walk along here carefully. There are snaps along the back here too, but you'll have to close the cover to get to those. And this is, of course, the tedious part of this, but it's not that bad. You just got to be careful. Take your time. Now you got to make sure that there's nothing plugged into any of these little USB ports, like a dongle or something like that. If you got something plugged in there, take it out before you start this. Okay. Now see, I actually boogered up the plastic there a little bit, see? Got to be careful about that. Okay, now that it's almost out, you can get this and get that part snapped out. And the unit is opened. Now, of course, you should have a grounding strap on and be working on a grounded surface. I don't have that, and I'm only replacing the fan, so I'm not going to worry about it. The fan sits right here. I ordered this fan from Amazon. I'll put a link to the fan when I get it. By the way, when they sent this, the fan came with a little screwdriver and a little plastic spudger. So it actually came with all the tools you need to take this thing apart. I haven't checked this one out yet, so I'm hoping it's the right part. It certainly looks like it is identical. Now, taking out the fan is simply a matter of removing 3 screws. And they're similar to these M2 silver ones back here, but they're a little shorter. So as you can see, they're tiny, so you won't get them confused with the other ones. But they are silver, just like the other M2s. Okay, that removes that. And there's a tiny little plug here, gray wire on the right. Okay, I'm going to zoom in on this so you can see this. This fan uses a tiny little connector, and it's not like most laptop fan connectors that unplug by pulling them out. This one just snaps in, so you have to get underneath it with something, fine. Probably a plastic spudger would be better for this, since I did not remove the battery. Let me see if I can get under here and pop that up. Okay, it just pops out of there like that. And the fan is removed. And I'll check the new one to see if it sits on all the mounting holes correctly. And it looks fine. Okay. And get it set the right way. And just press it back down in there. Make sure it's all the way flat. And that's it. The fan has been replaced except for putting the 3 screws back in. Let me zoom out for you so you can watch. Okay, I am going to turn the laptop back on to make sure this fan is spinning. Now when you turn the laptop on, it takes a few seconds for it to come up to temperature. But when you first turn it on, yep, you saw that fan spin. I'm not sure what my angle looks like here, but yep, I think you can see it. So after this thing runs for a few minutes, it should start spinning as the temperature comes up. Okay, we're going to start by carefully placing the plastic lid over on top and pressing it down all around the edges. And then it snaps in really easy. You just got to work your way around it and make sure that all the little snaps are snapped in and nothing is sticking out. Okay, that's that. Now we will return the screws. Okay, now all that's left to do is return these rubber strips, rubber feet. By the way, it does stick pretty good on here. And the trick to getting these on is to make sure that you get the very first edge of it set down and then just work from one side to the other, making sure it sits down evenly and doesn't hang over the edges. And then when you get about to right here, stick the other end in and get it tight, and there'll be a little bulge here, but it will work down. Just push it down and it'll flatten right out. And that is it. This laptop is repaired. So we'll run it for a while, make sure it doesn't overheat, and then we'll return it to its owner. So, thanks for watching, guys.